Welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. Will is out once again. He has to work late. We are going to move forward without him as best we can. And so, picking up tonight, these guys have made their way to a system known as Carndless. They are they have been tasked by uh, what's his name, Tremden Rainer, to basically find this a mysterious place where all of these alien artifacts seem to be popping up, and he's been after this stuff for a long time, and he's finally kind of narrowed it down that he believes that they're emanating from Carndless, and so he in exchange for a psionic, it is a droid artifact. That is a psionically like most of their equipment, psionically powered. That is a uh, data store, and Sarda has already kind of done a cursory once over of it and realizes that it is chock full of information, and so they really want this. And so the agreement was if they go and they if they go to Carndless and they find some stuff here, they don't have to bring back all of it. All they have to do is bring back evidence to prove that this is the site. And so, and then he will give them this Droyne artifact. And so, these guys have gone and they've discovered that there are some technologically advanced Firbolge there that, unlike the Firbolge that they have run into in the past, which are anywhere from Stone to Bronze Age, these Firbolg have discovered how to build ships and have some inkling towards technology, though it does not appear that it is a perfect knowledge. And they have clearly messed around with some things that they probably shouldn't have, such as fusion technology. They haven't taken any safeguards towards protecting themselves from radiation, and so um, it's a very sloppy technological society that these Firbolg have had. They're taking their first baby steps into this technology, perhaps a little bit sooner than they should have, and so they have basically branched out and become known as pirates in the area because they are seeking other technologies to add to their collection and for them to, I guess you could say, backward engineer. But it has been noted that over probably the past 5 years, it's really become notable that there are fewer and fewer of these Firbolg, and nobody knows exactly why. Perhaps they're dying out, or perhaps they have moved on. Nobody is quite sure of what's going on, and so. Arriving at the site, the travelers did find a downed ship. Apparently, it has suffered some damage. There are some makeshift scaffolds built around this Tenzig-class hauler, and so they got into a big fight with the Firbolg. Attempted to ambush them, but the travelers were smart enough. They brought security folks with them, and pretty much blew everything up. And they have met a coming out of the jungle that surrounds this area. They have now met a human who says that he was a member of the crew. And so that's where we left off. They're going to find out who this individual is and how long he's been here and what's going on. All right. So so this you guys see this guy he's come out and he calls to Pappy because Pappy was outside. He was on the roof and he's holding his hands up. He's wearing a dirty and torn jumpsuit. There's holes in the knees. He's clearly been here for some time, probably for at least a month, maybe 3 4 months. And he's holding his hands up and um, calling out to Pappy, saying, please don't shoot, thank God you're here," and that kind of thing. How is Pappy handling this?
Okay, well, We still have? Did we kill all the people, or are they dead? Are they gone?
You blasted
I thought
all of the Firbolge that were attacking.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I seem to recall there's one alive, but I could also.
Well, I mean, there are two that are still technically alive, but they won't be for long. You blasted them
Gotcha.
hard enough that they're probably going to bleed out in the next couple minutes.
Cool. Okay. Then I'll be like, all right, hey man, what the hell got you out here having other people taking over your ship?
And he approaches the ship, and he tells you that the basic story that he has is that he and his crew came out here, and very much the same as many of the Torlex crews in this region. They were legitimate salvagers, etc., etc. But there has always been this, not always, but there has been this rumor since Tremden, and he says Tremden Rainer's name. He calls him out, that this rumor has been that Rainer will pay top dollar for finding these artifacts of alien origin, or finding, and even more money for ambitious crews that find the location where these artifacts are stemming from. And that kind of led them to kind of go on this treasure hunt. And he said that they had been searching for it for, a number of years until they finally came here, and they weren't directly attacked, but there were some strange ships that came out from the planet, and kind of as they were coming in, they were going to make a landing to try to do a survey. And as they came in, before they could fully land, one of these ships released some kind of electromagnetic pulse and forced their ship down. And evidently, they weren't expecting that. These Torlex-class ships aren't really shielded in any way for that. And so, I mean, they're barely pieced together as it is from spare parts. And so they went down, and then these Firbolges have systematically killed off the rest of the crew. As far as he knows, he is the only one left. He was the ship's steward, and he has really very minimal knowledge of how to repair things. But the rest of initially, the crew he included built the scaffolding that you see around the ship, and were in the process of trying to make repairs. He attempted to assist where he could, mostly making lunches, and then over a period of time, these Firbolge ended up killing the rest of the crewmates, and he ran and has been hiding in the surrounding forest ever since. And he heard and saw your ship come in, and he also notes that since the time that he's been here, he has seen many of the Firbolge ships leave the planet and not come back. He says he doesn't know if they have gone out trying to pirate other craft, or what the deal is, but they never returned. And he's noticed that the groups of Firbolges over this period of time, and he says that he estimates that he's been here for probably about 5 months. And he tells you that over that period of time, with these ships leaving, the amount of Firbolge on this planet have become less. There's not as many of them. And he tells you may have killed off the last of them in this ambush. But he says he doesn't know that for sure. There could be some in various parts of the forest, but as far as he knows, he hasn't seen very many of them. So that's his story. He does, of course, ask if there's any way that you can get him back to civilization.
I mean, we can offer to take him back to the dude that we're coming from.
After a slight detour.
he also tells you, he says that he has spent some time trying to figure out where these Firbolge have been coming from. Hold on.
Yeah, why are there suddenly technological Firbolge on this planet? Like, what the hell?
So he tells you that they're he actually tracked them and followed them back to where they were coming, and he found that there was a wreck, which you guys actually saw that there was some kind of wreckage from orbit. This was the wreckage that you saw from orbit looked like is very old, but from what you could determine from orbit coming in is that it was it probably happened hundreds of thousands of years ago, and that the initial crash would have been survivable. And so, I mean, that's your guess, but I mean, it looked like the initial crash wasn't so bad that everybody would have been killed. And you have noticed that, of course, over time, sediment has built up and foliage and whatnot, but it hasn't completely, in the hundreds of thousands of years, hasn't completely covered this wreckage. And he tells you he followed the Firbolges back to this site, and that's where they're living. And he says that he has seen them come and go with various alien artifacts out of that site, and he says he would be willing to bet that that's where they're getting all of their stuff.
They somehow learned how to
I didn't
use.
particularly follow that. I'm sorry. I got a little, I don't know if I was distracted or I'm not quite clear where he thinks they're coming from.
So when you guys came in to land on the planet's surface, this ship with the scaffolding wasn't the only ship here. There was another crash site that was probably hundreds of thousands of years old. In fact, the from what you could determine, it matched Droyne technology that you've seen before. But that's just a hypothesis. The initial scans of that wreck site suggest that the crash landing was survivable. Now, of course, you can't say that 100% either, because over hundreds of thousands of years, sediment and soil has built up, foliage has grown around it, but the site is still visible from orbit. And he tracked the Firbolges back, and that's where they're living, in that wreckage. And he's seen them come out with a number of alien devices that he doesn't know what they are, but he's seen them enter and come out with those.
And that wreck is gone now?
No, it's still there. This was the reason why you landed here, is because this was a more obvious site of habitation. I mean, it's a fully, well, not, I was going to say functional, but it is an intact ship with scaffolding built around it. This was a more obvious site. So, I mean, he tells you that he'd be willing to bet that site is where they're getting all of this alien technology, and that's where the mother lode is. And he admits, him and his crew were out here looking for the same thing you guys are.
Oh.
I mean, Rayner has put out the word to many crews seeking this for a couple of years now. And so, I mean, obviously there were other people looking for it. And this guy, he's begging a ride off of you. He tells you, he says, the truth of the matter is that I was hired on as a steward. He says, I have no claim to this vessel. I mean, you could claim it as legitimate salvage yourself if you wanted to. I mean, he has no idea where you guys are from.
Is there any chance that we could fix this up enough to get him home, or would it be easier to just take him?
Well, he is a steward. He's got very limited piloting capability, no astrogation. I mean, that doesn't mean he can't attempt it, but he would be more comfortable if he would just ride with you guys. Could you fix this ship up? Certainly. I would say that
anything with salvaging off the ship then instead?
That's a possibility as well. I mean, you'd have to make some overall rolls depending on what it is that you're looking. If you're looking to just salvage spare parts, um, you could salvage shit. You could probably salvage a ton of spare parts off of this thing in about 4 days' time, if that's what you wanted to do. Now these things, I mean, I don't know how useful
Is there
that.
any tech that we need?
That's a good question. So these are tech
Parts.
level 11 ships. I mean, I don't know. They've got, they're only J1s and they've got thrust 3 for their maneuver drive. So I mean, you've got your ships are tech level 15, but spare parts are still spare parts. They can all be modified to fit. So it's up to you guys. I mean,
I mean,
you could even, if you wanted to cut that time down and increase the amount, you could probably quadruple that, and in half the time if you had Deepnight Revelation send down some engineering crews. Just strip this thing bare.
man, I know like our ship is always kind of struggling for materials and stuff, so I don't think
And,
it's a
and
bad idea.
now we have two ships,
Right.
right? We got the Hussy,
Yep.
the Dirty Hussy, or
The
whatever
Dirty
the hell,
Hussy.
Leonard Hussy.
Yes.
Um,
Leonard's Dirty Hussy.
so they've got people. Send them down because I think I want to spend more time scavenging the droid ship.
Okay.
Agreed.
So
Yeah, we want time with the droid ship. Have
so
them work on this one.
so yeah, this guy tells you, he says, if you'd be willing to give me a ride back, I can show you where that crash site is right now. He says we were highly interested in it, and we were going to land there initially, and then we were hit by an EMP, and we were forced to land, as it were. He says luckily our pilot was good enough that we didn't sustain too much damage. And you can see the underside of this ship is scratched up. It did a belly landing.
How worried are we about an EMP? I mean, I know that we're a decommissioned ship, but we're still a warship. You think they might
Oh,
have shielding?
oh yeah. Deepnight Revelation probably isn't going to be. I mean, it would have to be a pretty significant EMP for Deepnight Revelation to worry about it. Your scout ship, on the other hand, eh, that could pose some problems. But for the most part, yeah. I mean, Deepnight Revelation has nuclear dampers on it. Even if a nuke hits it, they can angle their shields and reduce the damage with their nuclear dampers. So I wouldn't necessarily say that Revelation herself would be too worried about an EMP, but your Desinex would be. The launches and the pinnaces almost undoubtedly would be. I don't know. The Scout might have some shielding for some of its components, simply because it's a Scout ship. But yeah, the launch and the pinnaces would be as boned as the Torlex, I would think. EMP don't care. So yeah, this guy, it takes you. He tells you it's not very far. It takes you probably about 40 minutes of going through this jungle. Both of you can make a survival plus intellect check.
I don't know how to survive. I just fly things.
Yeah,
You said intellect.
correct.
I don't have survival. That's not good.
And -3. Ooh, look at Jack. Oof.
I got a
Eh,
7.
that ain't bad, actually. I mean, you still failed, but you didn't fail by nearly as much as I thought.
Oh, I still failed.
So
Boo.
Mel, as you are making your way through the forest, you note that there are a number of uh, small but well-worn trails. And Pappy, you see these too. Pappy's assumption, seeing these, is that these are probably game trails, and that there's some kind of probably not a predator, because predators, large predators, unless they're a wolf or a cat, large predators have a tendency of barreling through areas, and that's not what these look like. So these are probably herd animals of some kind, is what your initial thought is. Mel, you look at these and you can see that these numerous small trails, and when I say small, I mean they're not really bigger than like 2 feet in width, and they crisscross all throughout sections of the forest. Some end in a small area, like usually under a bush or by a tree. Others meander their way through and connect with other ones. And it becomes apparent to Mel that these are created by humanoids. Probably the Firbolge in the tracks that you notice in the dirt. And after about 40 minutes, several of these game trails kind of lead to this clearing site, and there's this. I mean, this crash site probably goes on for a good 2 kilometers in length, probably about half a kilometer in width. So when this ship came down, it tore ass through the landscape, right? It did a belly landing, but whoever was piloting it did a very, very good job. And so the ship came to rest in 2 pieces. But, I mean, obviously the ship would never fly again, but just looking at the wreckage and ignoring the age and degradation of everything from age, you guys can immediately see that no, this looks like whoever would have crashed it. There probably were some casualties, but ultimately people could have survived this. And it kind of crashed, broke its back, and kind of split in two, and the hull was rent apart, and that leads into the area. And you can see that there are a number of um, like wooden stakes stuck in the ground. There are like bird feathers and what could be bones or shells hanging from leather thongs hanging from these wood stakes that kind of lead up into this opening, almost like in a reverent manner, like this is a temple.
Ooh, maybe there's one of those psychic things in there, and somehow the Firbolge were able to glean information.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, are you wanting to enter? And are you guys bringing your security officers with you?
I suppose we could
I
leave
think
back like
so.
one of the teams to guard the ship until the rest of the crew comes down.
Yeah. That, I
And
mean,
I don't know what you think. Do you want to bring them all, or do you want to leave some behind with that first ship?
I don't know if I give a fuck about the salvage there as much as I care about the other one.
All right, then bring them with us.
Right? I mean,
Bring all six
Tell them to bring
seemingly
out security people when they come, is all.
we put a dent in the Firbolge population. Maybe there'll be people there. Maybe the Firbolge will come out. The remainder will come for the other ship. I don't know. That's a hussy problem. That's not a that's not a
it's
deep
always
night
a hussy
problem.
problem. So, okay, so your security team um, moves in. The plasma gunner takes point, but um, he's kind of been he takes point, but he slings the plasma rifle and pulls out a sidearm, and he's told by the commanding officer of the security forces that whatever's in here, they don't want to be shooting the plasma gun because they want to salvage stuff from in here. So don't use that. And he tells the rest of the team, even with their Gauss rifles, he tells them, check your fire. Switch over to single shot because we don't want to do damage to whatever's in here.
Yay, he's got a brain.
And so these guys,
Yeah, if something is threatening with me, I'm gonna light it the fuck up. That's just the way it's gonna go.
yes, I don't care if it belongs in a museum. Kill it. And so these guys enter, and they are in there for probably a good 30 minutes. And one of them comes back to you guys are kind of back probably 300 meters and kind of crouched down in the forest, kind of waiting for them to give you the clear. And finally, after about 30 minutes, one of them, the commanding officer, comes back to the entrance and radios you guys, and he tells you, he says, the site is clear. We're not finding any Firbolges in here. He says, but we did find a bunch of stuff, and it's way above my pay grade as to what this is.
That's a good sign too.
And
Yes, it is.
the next thing that he does is he radios he radios up to Deepnight and requests an extraction shuttle. He's got 2 casualties. So they didn't find
Who's
any.
got casualties?
The security
Yeah,
team.
what caused the casualties?
He says they don't, and so Deepnight responds that they're sending down a launch to pick up his casualties. He responds to you, and he tells you, he says, I don't know what happened. There was some kind of weird scrawled writing on the walls, and 2 of my guys got sudden headaches, passed out, and were bleeding from the nose and the ears.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Yes, that's what we're looking for. You found it.
It's not here.
That's
Damn it! And our
exactly
second
what we
person's not here.
wanted.
Grab it.
I said it looks clear.
This is not good timing.
I was rewatching The Legend of Vox Machina, and the part where they're going through the ancient temple, and she says, well, I don't think we have to worry about any traps. I think Grog the Barbarian found them all. You're welcome. Where he's stepping on, oh, we don't want anybody to trip on this, and he steps on the trigger on the floor, and a bunch of axes start swinging, and darts are blowing all over the place. So yeah, I mean, so Deepnight Revelation responds that a launch is inbound, ETA 3.5 minutes for a SNR ship come down. And
we should tell these guys to back out the ship then, so that no more of them have that issue.
Okay, I mean he's okay with that. He insists that him and one other of the security force will remain and guard the entrance. And he says he tells you, be careful going in there, because I mean it hit these guys just all of a sudden. He says he's heard about some of your guys' interactions. I mean, obviously the stories of your adventures and your interactions with these kinds of things have spread over the past 9 years, right? And so but he hasn't experienced. Very few of the other crew members have experienced any of this. You guys have gone out looking for them specifically. And so this is the first time they've seen something like this. He's heard stories. He heard the stories of the very first interactions way back 9 years ago. Well, actually, I guess it's more like 10, 11, 12 years ago on the moon Alpha, where pretty much all of this kind of started. he says that the stories that we heard, it's nothing like experiencing it yourself. He says even I got nauseated looking at him, but it didn't seem to hit me as hard. So both of you can roll 2d plus your intellect modifier, and you can roll that with a boon. So roll 3 and take the 2 highest. So both of you got it. So this tells you something. It tells you that so most people, when they encounter these droid carvings, the average person gets a sense of unease, maybe perhaps a bit of nausea, not unlike that feeling, that vertigo feeling of when a ship goes into jump space. The people that get the migraines or pass out they have the potential of being perhaps they on a very low level are psionic. They are what you would refer to as a sensitive.
You're so sensitive.
Right? Yes. Oh, you should go on a date with him. He's so sensitive. He pukes and passes out every time he sees carvings on the wall, but that just means he's sweet. So that would tell you, from your experience, that tells you that these guys are probably sensitives, and that kind of thing didn't happen to both Cephas or Sarda, and it probably wouldn't happen to, oh man, what's her name? Your Jodani, her name. Her name is Neam McCabe. Or no, Maya Arek is the sensitive. Or the Jodani. Maya Arek.
Since we don't have Sarda, should we bring her down? We probably should have a real psionicist look at this.
I'm going to just say that Sarda's probably there with you. Because, I mean, why wouldn't he be? And so, that true psionics don't seem to have this problem because from what you understand, what you've learned from Sarda is that basically because of their training, they always have some kind of mental shield up. So like a telepath generally cannot just read the mind of another telepath because they have the shield up. They can't even really technically contact them without some form of knocking on the gates, and that person has to lower their shield in order to initiate contact. So it's not they're protected from this shit for the most part. And so this tells you that these guys may be latent psionicists that they may not even know about. They never received any training. Maybe they just always thought they were lucky or good at cards or what have you, and that luck is a little bit of something to do with telepathy or whatever. Telepathy is the most common one, but it can manifest in other ways. So the 3.5 minutes, this launch comes down. There's a medical crew aboard. They get these two guys aboard, and I mean, almost immediately, as soon as they're taken away from the wreck site, you can see them kind of rebounding and coming back. Like waking up, and they feel better. They don't know what happened. They have no real. They had some. They babble on about how they had some kind of vision, but nothing that they're saying really makes a whole lot of sense. But they're obviously feeling better as soon as they get out of the site. And so these two security guys are like, be careful going in there. What are you guys doing?
We got this. Don't worry about us. We know what we're doing.
So heading in, you can see that this whole ship. I mean, the second that you step inside, you've been inside some droid structures. Some of them, well, all of them, you've been in on the voyage, have been created by Oiskrusk and his droid crew from 300,000 years ago. So the second that you step into the ship, you can look at the furniture and the consoles, and you're like, oh yeah, this is droid. I mean, it's obvious. And it seems that the Firbolges had been kind of living in this space, and you find that the main area, which looks like it was probably, this ship appears to you like it was probably an auxiliary craft. It was a small ship, probably uses a landing craft. So the bulk of it is cargo space. But back towards where engineering would be, at least it would be on a human ship, you find that there are spaces that look like they were probably set aside in the bulkheads for living areas. And the Firbolg have set these areas up as um, as a, for lack of a better word, it looks like a shrine. It looks like they have set up a temple. And coming into one of these rooms, you see another one of these orbs, like the one that Tremden Rainer is going to trade to you. And you see that it is kind of sitting there, and it is sitting on a pedestal, and at the bottom of the pedestal, there is a word scrawled in the language of the Droyne, in Oinprinth. And you both have access to your mobile comms, and you have access to the the translator unit, and just showing it automatically is translated. This word that is below this orb is the name of the commander of, or the captain of the Droyne expedition. It is Oiskrusk, and it's on this pedestal below this orb. It does not look like it was scrolled by Droyne, though. It looks like the Firbolg carved it into this pedestal.
Really?
And this orb looks almost identical. I mean, it's dirty. It's clearly not been taken care of. Um, it looks like it's been subject to much handling and weather and elements over the past 300,000 years. But you can clearly tell that it's the same kind of thing. It looks exactly the same. It's just dirty and banged up. So, I mean, you know that Sarda spent a very brief amount of time, like 5 minutes, with the orb over on Rodlin's port at Tremden Rainier's property, and he told you that this thing is like a memory archive, and all you have, if he touches it and activates his psionics, he can kind of mess with it. And I would go so far as to say that he could probably transmit that, if he were to concentrate more, and he could transmit that to you guys as well, if that's what
Okay,
you
is
want to do.
this unlike the other one, which was I don't know on the station? Is this one like connected, wired into anything,
No,
or is it just sitting there on a pedestal saying, "Take me, please"?
it's just sitting there on a pedestal saying, "Take me, please." Both of you can make a Recon plus Intellect check.
Like, uh, I guess because most people couldn't just take it.
Ignore that. Ignore that. I didn't click off Boone.
Oh yeah.
I'm paying attention. What I see.
No shit. Look at the peepers on Pappy. So Pappy, you find another device in here. It's not on a pedestal. It is laying on several pieces of leather hide on the floor, and there looks like some homemade tribal candles that are around it. It's obviously not as important to the Firbolge as that orb is, but it has been set aside with some reverence. And you recognize this as well. There was another one of these devices found in Tremden Rainer's collection, and you've seen this device before in, well, maybe its description has been given to you before by both Bocephus and Sarda that it has been seen um, in some of these droid visions. Nobody knows exactly what it is, but it's a common piece of equipment that the droid have used throughout, and it has a grip almost like a gun, but there doesn't seem to be a trigger, and the top part is kind of just a squared rectangle slab with rounded corners, and that's about it. Other than that, you have no real idea what this thing does.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want, Sarda can touch the orb, and he could, if both of you agree, he could transmit that telepathically to you. So basically, he can act as a conduit, and you can all share in whatever memory information is inside this orb. And by doing it that way, it would also kind of protect you guys somewhat, because you're not psionic in any way, and you don't have any of that shielding. So he would be able to filter that and pass it on to you in a less dangerous way to you.
Okay. I mean, that sounds less than horrible.
So
Better than the alternative, that's for damn sure.
right, I mean, I think both of you have seen the carvings and have got. I know Pappy's gotten migraines.
I have not reacted well.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, the planet with the poisonous stinger lobsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That was a ways back. Let's see here.
Missed a planet with some kind of lobster people?
No lobster people. There were giant lobsters with like scorpion tail stingers on them, and they were rather aggro.
And we didn't have any clarified butter.
Right. Yeah. Yes, and but there was also some droid carvings there, and Mel got a headache.
It did not go well for me.
No, yeah, it was like one bad roll after another for you, to be honest. It wasn't really your fault. It was just bad rolls.
The dice giveth and the dice taketh.
Yes, there they are.
Okay, so we have this.
Yeah, I'm just looking at
whatever the hell lying on the set aside, on hides, and we have the orb. Okay, so far so good.
I'm just looking at Sarda's character sheet.
Should I just have the picture of the old ship still on my screen?
Yes, I haven't changed it.
Okay. Okay, just making sure.
You know what? I'm just going to. There we go. So Sarda reaches over and he touches this orb, and it doesn't seem like he's really doing much at first. And then you can feel his mind kind of connect to yours, and a flow of many images starts to come in, and it is these images are short and like jerky fragments, like you've put in an old VHS tape and it's too old. It's past its prime, and so like there's tracking issues, and it's jerky, and some of it is blank, and then it picks up with another image, and you start
Yeah,
to
take that back to Blockbuster.
yes, yes, you start to um, after seeing a bit of this, you start to see that this is um, a you are seeing it from the perspective of somebody who was on the droid mission, but it is herky and jerky in trying to witness this. But it is, you see that they've been on surface of many worlds, and they have made serious experiments that they and the crew undertook, and that there was a desperate fight to save their ship from an infestation of the Deepnight entity. And at some point it gets to the part where there was the disaster that took the Droyne scientist Tyavask, which you guys might not remember, but there was a point where the scientist fucked up and Tyavask screwed up, and basically because of his mistake, there was a major infestation of Deepnight, and so they they or not Deepnight. There was a major infestation of this facility that the Droyne had created on this planet, and so Tyavask, instead of instead of having them disintegrate him and everything there, he convinced Oiskrust, the commander, to allow him to seal off this facility, and he allowed the entity to basically infest him, and he used his psionic abilities to control the entity and to maintain it within the facility, hoping that he would gain some kind of insight into the entity, and that whatever follow-up mission, because there was supposed to be a follow-up mission for the Droyne as well. Unfortunately, the Ancients War happened, and you guys would know that no follow-up ever came because the Ancients died out. But his plan was that he was going to allow it to infest him, and he was going to then gain some insight that he could pass on before they decided to just liquidate the entire site, him included. That didn't happen, and so he sat there completely tortured for 300,000 years until Deepnight showed up, and Sarda and I think Bocephus came in, and they got his information, which led to somewhat to the second stage cure or inoculation of the counter agent.
Is that dome building?
It was before that, but it was very similar to that.
Okay.
And then it goes on to it shows the dome building and their experimentation with creating the biologicals, and their idea that these biologicals could one day be used to battle the Deepnight entity, because the Droyne, by this point, at this point in the images that you're receiving, you feel a sense of depression, because it is becoming clear to the Droyne that the Deepnight entity may be more powerful than they can take on, and so they created the biologicals, thinking that maybe this would be a frontline army in holding back the entity, and that's why the biologicals have the same counter agent in them naturally that the Deepnight entity cannot, or it is harder for the entity to infest them. They have a natural immunity. And then it comes to this world, which is a moon of a gas giant. It's called C2A. And you see that there is a primitive tribe of Firbolge that are living on this world, and the Droyne arrive, and almost immediately these primitive Firbolge, seeing the capability of the Droyne, start to worship them. And you see that the orb, as a recording device, ended up being left behind. And the final parts of this, you see that one of these Firbolge and this seems to be many years later, picks up this recording device, and this Firbolge that picks it up is also psionic. And they start to figure out how to access this memory orb. And you see that they're very excited by learning about this, and they believe that what they're learning about is the information and language of the gods. And so they start to try to replicate the technology, hoping that the gods will come back to them. And suddenly, you see that there is a ship coming in to land. And you see that humans come walking out of this ship. And the Firbolge are excited. They believe that these are the gods returned. And as they run up, one of the humans pulls out a gun and shoots the Firbolge that you're seeing these images from. And they look down at their chest, and there's a big hole where a laser has gone through their chest. And you see that the human reaches over and grabs the recording orb, and then the image fades out. And that's the end of the recording.
Okay. Well, that didn't work well.
So humans came in and fucked it up, is what I'm hearing.
Kind of, or at least messed up the Firbolge's involvement.
In the data that has streamed in, and because Pappy kind of recognized this other device, Pappy can make a your choice, Pappy. You can make an engineering plus intellect check, or you can make a mechanic plus intellect check.
See if I have mechanic or engineering and which one's better. Okay, engineer is at 0. Mechanic is at 0, so it'd be the same roll for either one. Okay. I'm gonna roll mechanic, just on principle.
Okay, so during these visions, you see this other device used a number of times by the droid. Not so much by the Firbolge, but you kind of learn a little bit about what this device does. The first thing that you learn is that this device, because of its age and poor state of care, it is nowhere near the level that it was at one time. However, there are some functions that you believe still would function with this device. The first of these functions is that it allows whoever is holding this thing, it allows them to modify their perceptions so that they can kind of sense more of the electromagnetic spectrum. Similar to like Pris goggles, but not quite as overt. The downside, of course, is you get a little bit of eye strain and a headache, but you can essentially detect and see radio frequency emissions, radiation leaks, and cosmic rays. Now, this is only something that can be used by a psionic, but it would allow you to see these emissions, or radiation or whatever. You can more or less in quotes see them and know that they're there. The second function that can be done, and each of these costs 1 psi point. The second function is that the device can be used to protect whoever the psionic that's holding it against harmful radiation and emissions. But it comes at a price. And so anytime that the psionic that is holding it is exposed to an energy attack, whether it's a direct contact like grabbing a live electrical wire or radiation from a laser or a reactor leak, the device will create a field to nullify it. 1 point of strength or endurance has to be temporarily drained from the psionic, and in return they gain 1d of damage or 25 rads worth of protection. An electrical shock that does, for instance, 4d damage is nullified at the cost of 4 points of strength or endurance, or a mix of both. And the drained points will return at a rate of one every 6 hours of light activity or 3 hours of rest. The last thing that this thing does is pretty specific. When it carried by a psionic user that is attuned to it, it warns of the presence of the Deepnight entity. It's not a biological detection. The device doesn't scan particles or cells. What it does is detect the neurological signals from an infected creature or cluster, and the alarm signal takes the form of a feeling of discomfort that grows into severe pain depending on the strength of the neurological signal and its proximity. So a fully psionic user could control this, but like if it was given to somebody who's just as sensitive, they wouldn't be able to control it, and they would just get really sick. Um, a newly infected person with only a little entity nerve tissue would provoke an uneasy reaction. Within 10 meters of a major cluster, they would be in pure agony. So that's what this device does.
Hey, you relay that information to them, like, holy crap, this thing is kind of like the psionics, like, bodyguard slash shield.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, you might if you guys are keeping. One of you wants to keep notes. You might want to write down that you have these. I vote Jack should write it down because or keep a notepad or whatever. That you have this Droyne scientific device, and probably also this memory orb, um, because the scientific device especially might be usable by Sarda in the future.
All right, what's the name of this planet so I can remember where we got it?
So this is Carndless, and I'll type it out. There you go. And this thing's just called the scientific device. I would just say Droyne scientific device.
Duly noted.
Excellent. So, other things that you have found in here. Other. There we go. So the area where the security guards dropped from these carvings, you see that there are some carvings on the wall. Again, Sarda is kind of he interacts with them and projects it back to you. These are clearly Droyne carvings. Um, the weird thing is that they are a series of words in Oinprint that, when spoken correctly, um, they appear to be a nonsense phrase. It doesn't make any sense, and it seems to be scribbled over and over on this wall.
It's a password.
No, this phrase is just some gobbledygook, and it seems to be scribbled over and over and over on the wall.
Yeah, but was it scribbled over and over by a bunch of uneducated
No,
Firbolge, or is it droid
this
writing?
appears that it is in the very fluid symbols of the Droyne. So they purposely scribbled this on the wall. But there's no vision that is part of this. Instead, and unfortunately, Sarda takes the brunt of this. You feel a little bit of it, but not like Sarda. Instead of getting a vision, he feels disoriented and a little dizzy. But beyond that, there's no vision. Now, I mean,
Like
if you
this is like a key
Purpose
to
to
something, but
serve.
it's an overwhelming thing.
right now, here's the really screwed up part, and this is I'm gonna metagame for you. If you guys were to ask me outside of the game, say, well, what was the scribbling? I have no answer for you because they don't tell you in the book.
Yeah.
No, in fact, it ends with no vision, feelings of being disoriented, and more than a little dizzy. That's it.
So it messes you up, but you get nothing else about it.
Right. Yes. And this is one of those black hole moments that you run into in traveler campaigns where it's like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to do with this? I mean, it sounds like, oh shit, there's something important or mysterious here. Wish I knew what it was. Like, nope, that's it. Um,
Red herring.
yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I don't know. So aside from that, I mean, you find a number of items that are in here. More of those. And these are clearly of Firbolge manufacture. The particle beam rifles. They're they're not very good. I mean, they're basically a low-level fusion gun. Every time the trigger is pressed, it floods the user and everything around them with radiation within like what 10 meters. So and the grip is a little bit too big for people or for humans. And so you find a number of these sitting around. Um, you find more than enough stuff that you could take this back to Roudlandport and tell Rayner, hey, we found it, and give it to him and get your reward, essentially. Because you never agreed to come and excavate this ship. You were just going to come back with samples, say,
We
we
also
found it.
didn't agree that we were not going to take all the best shit.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
you don't necessarily have to say anything about the orb or the scientific device. That's up to you. He doesn't know what's here.
I say we take the orb and the scientific device and tell them about the rest.
Well, isn't this like a Tech 20 like ship? Isn't there other shit that we could just take?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to spend some time here, and I mean, really,
I've got nothing but time.
yeah, I mean, you guys, theoretically speaking, if you started to make the final crossing to Terminus Point tomorrow, and we'll get to why it takes this long. I mean, because you're still looking at about at least 2 weeks, and that's just jump time. And I'll explain that later. But if you were to do that in with refueling, we'll round it up to 3 weeks worth of time. In 3 weeks, you would be entering the terminus point system, and by your records, so the initial agreement for this mission was 10 plus years one way. So 20 plus years estimated, rounded up to about 24 years round trip. You guys are a year ahead of schedule.
Yay.
So you've got time. And really the reason for that is that you made some good decisions and you had some really good rolls in the crossing of the rift. You didn't get lost, you didn't miss jump, and you found fuel wherever you needed to. So
You're amazing.
also because every time that there was something, to dick around with, you guys were like, "No, we have a mission. We have to go kill this thing."
Well, like, right now I'm debating what can be looted here, but we can't loot it to the point where that guy gets fucking pissed because we need that other orb. I don't know why we need this other orb. I just think that 2 orbs is better than 1.
Well, yeah,
in trying to pull out information useful for the entity.
true. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, if you were to take back a couple of these fusion guns, that would be enough to satisfy and give the fusion guns to Raynor. That would be enough to satisfy him in that yes, you found the site, and he will send ships back to basically pick the place clean. So while you're here, what you decide to take and don't tell him about, that's up to you.
Yeah, we have to cherry pick.
Absolutely.
What's gonna give us the biggest bang for the buck?
I
A
will.
tech.
I will.
What are the? What was it? Was it Tech 20 or something absurd? It was something absurd.
It is. It is. Yeah. I will allow you both to make a engineering plus education check.
It's like, is it at the point where we wouldn't even know what's good from not good because it's so far ahead of us?
Yeah. It is at the point where,
I apparently don't know shit because I rolled the fucking 7.
so the stuff
I
that,
did worse than you. I rolled a 4.
so there are two problems. The first problem is that nothing in here works. I mean, the orb worked, but I mean, like consoles and whatnot don't work. They all have the standard droid configuration that you've seen before, where there's these weird, like molded chairs. Like, I just have. I saw this stupid ad on Facebook the other day, and it made me laugh. It was a molded heavy plastic chair or vinyl, whatever, and it was shaped like a naked woman's butt, like she's sitting down. And my response to that was like, for when you want to purchase furniture that came directly from the set of A Clockwork Orange. So a lot of these chairs are kind of that molded, curved, S-curve plastic kind of molding. They're not plastic. They're like some kind of weird droid alloy, but they're these weird, Art Nouveau like lawn chair designs, and all of their consoles are just blank slates. Now from the dome where you dealt with the biologicals, the biological homeworld, so to speak. Some of these work, or the way they work is that they project a hologram, although the only way that you can activate them is through psionics, or even to control them is through psionics. And so, Sarda can tell you that nothing in this ship works. There's no power signature, whatever, and really, even if you were to look in the engineering department, or what you think is engineering, you wouldn't even know how to begin to make any of this work. So the Ancients technology really goes along the line. I believe it was it Isaac Asimov that said that a high enough technology would
Arthur
be.
C. Clarke.
It was Arthur C. Clarke, right? High enough level of technology is indistinguishable from magic, and that's kind of where these are. Now you know that tech level 16 is not. You guys have probably never seen anything that's tech level 16, but it's not entirely beyond your realm of understanding, knowing that the highest tech level in the Imperium, your own ship, is tech level 15. So you can probably think ahead to prototypes of tech level 16 stuff that are possible. This is beyond that. You're probably looking tech
Yeah, but
level
we're
22 or higher.
Yeah, but just imagine being able to reverse engineer that.
I don't know that you would even be able to. I mean, at tech level 22 or higher, you'd be looking at it like, I don't know what any of this is or what it does, and so I don't
The
know.
orb will teach us all we need to know. Hey, if it can work for the Firbolge, it can work for us.
Yeah, I mean, the Firbolge were able to backward engineer some of this stuff. They were able to figure out how to make fusion weapons. So there's obviously some value in the orb, but the fusion weapons that they made, I mean, if you
Have some drawbacks. Simple. Just some drawbacks.
yeah, if you can imagine like what a fusion gun at a tech level 5 society would look like, that's what these are. They're basically an unshielded reactor that you carry. They're like Ghostbusters, where he flips it on for the first time and scoots away on the wall. Yeah, that's like that. Oh, I wish we'd had time to test this more. So, yeah, the orb is obviously of use to you. What you decide to do with that information is up to you. But really, the stuff inside the ship is broken, for one, and two, you don't even know how it's powered. You don't know how the reactor works, if it even is a reactor, and you don't know what any of these things do. There's really no signature or sign on any of the consoles saying that this is piloting or this is astrogation or nothing. They're all just blank.
All right, so I guess we'll just say we got what we came for, right? We got the knowledge. We're going to be able to pull tech out that we're going to be able to use.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you guys grab essentially what you came for, keeping the scientific device and the orb yourselves. And Pappy, you can go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
Let's get going.
Oh, and I was just thinking about, so in the finale adventures, there is going to be at least one part where all three of you are going to have to be there, especially, and it's going to be, well, it's going to especially be Pappy and Sarda, but there's going to be room for everybody to do something. But when we get to that point, I'll tell you, I'm like, oh well, we can't play unless everybody's here. It's going to take all three of you. But yeah, Pappy, you guys get back aboard the scout ship and you launch back to um, Deepnight Revelation. And by this time, Revelation has had some time um, to uh, refuel, as has the Leonard Hussey, and they begin their jump back. You can let's see. You can add 2 weeks to your study periods.
2 weeks, 2 weeks. Oh, that's good.
All right, that brings me to 8.
All right. What were
Hello.
you studying?
Medic.
All right. You can make a medic plus education check. And if you don't have medic, you don't have to worry about the -3 because you're learning it. So basically at that point it just becomes a raw education. There you go. You now have medic.
All right, so that brings me up. Although I don't know, that should bring me to medic 2. Is that a high enough roll for medic 2?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's 8 plus.
Since
No
we've
matter what.
apparently lost our doctor, I thought that.
Yeah. A medic 2, I mean, it's like I've said in the past, 0 means that you are competent in medicine, enough to be a combat medic, which means you know a little bit more than first aid. At medic 1, you are competent enough to have your own practice. At medic 2, you are a top level doctor, like a surgeon. People would seek you out. At medic 3, you're good enough that probably people from other worlds in your system are probably coming to look for you. Possibly even the entire subsector, your name would be wide enough known that people would be coming to see you. At medic 4, people from the entire sector would know that you are the doctor to see about whatever topic, and that they would actually travel to come be seen by you. So, I mean, medic 2 is pretty solid. I mean, you can become basically you can become the chief medic if you wanted to at medic 2 easily. What about Pappy?
Happy got vac suit, so now I gotta roll for vac suit.
All right, so go ahead and roll vac suit plus education.
I don't know if we're gonna have enough weeks in jump for me to. I'm camping out, so I'm gonna think I'm also gonna move it. Spend my one extra week in vac suit.
Okay. Vac suit's always a good one to have.
Okay. And you said I gotta just roll the skill for vac suit?
Yeah, vac suit plus education.
Vac
So I've
suit
got it
plus
at 0.
education. Let's go, vac suit plus education. I got this. I don't got this. We'll see.
It's only that's only one period to go from or from Vec Suit 0 to Vec Suit 1, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's only 8 weeks.
Huh. Oh, I'm already at 1. I'm going for vac suit 2. That's what's going on here. Okay.
So that would be 2 8-week periods.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, I'm now vac suit 2.
You can use the big one. I think. Let's see here.
What? Is there a special vac? Oh.
This one.
Oh.
Well, that looks fun.
Ooh.
This one.
Does it have its own battery pack?
This thing has got damn near everything. It's basically a mech suit. Those hands aren't your hands. They're basically a Waldo
Lasers.
rig that you operate with joysticks. Equipment.
Do they have
There
lasers?
it is. Yeah. Oh, it requires vac suit 3.
Damn it.
But it has plus 20 protection. It's basically designed for high gravity worlds, high radiation worlds. It'll stop 250 rads. It will protect the wearer up to 10 Gs of gravity. You can go to high depths underwater. This thing is like a mobile exploration unit in and of itself. Yeah, operate at depths
How many
of
weeks do I need to
1,000
go
meters.
from 2 to 3?
It would be 24 weeks total. 3 8-week
3
periods.
periods. Ooh. We don't have that much time left, do we?
It depends on how. You could take downtime rather than, you don't have to do it in jump. You could say, you know what, we're not going to do anything for a week and add a study. You could do that too. It's not outside the realm of possibility. I do have a feeling that you're going to be kind of busy. So
I feel like we'll be busy too.
So coming back to Radlin Port, you are able to come in, and Pappy, go ahead and give me another piloting plus dex check. So
Oof.
yeah, it was close, but Pappy makes it into Radlin Port. I thought I had, maybe not. I guess there was no picture of Radlin Port. Anyways, you come into Radlin Port, and you are cleared for landing. As usual, you see that there are a number of ships. Most of these are the Torlex-class ships. There are a couple of vessels that you recognize as designs from the far side of nowhere. Mostly they're small craft, but they're not unheard of even this far out. And they're coming and going. Rodland Port being a free port, it is busy, and you make your way over to Tremden Rainer's. I was going to say compound. It's an estate, really, and his servants bring you out back. He's out on his own private raceway driving these. If you remember, he has a private racetrack with all of these different vehicles that he likes to drive, and he comes driving up to the spectator's booth and hops out of this fast ground vehicle and comes running up, and he says, "So you've returned. how is it that you got back so fast? He says, no matter, no matter. What did you find? Did you find what we were looking for?
You are gonna have a good time.
So, are you just presenting him with these fusion guns, or what are you doing?
I mean, I'm like, hey, a deal's a deal.
Okay, so
So
he takes it. He says, yes, this is proof. This is the proof that I was looking for. So here's another question. Uh, are you? So this guy that you rescued, you drop him off at the port. He, in the 2 weeks back, all he's got is a jumpsuit from Deepnight Revelation to replace his torn up clothing. He's bathed and shaved and cleaned himself up. He as soon as you drop him off at Radlin Port, he's like, okay, thanks for the ride, and he doesn't bother going back to see Tremd and Rainier. He's like, you know what, I'm done with this. I need to reintegrate into normal society. So the
man,
question,
he did his job. He did what he was supposed to. It didn't succeed. He can live his life. We don't owe that guy nothing.
exactly, and so
Either that, or he realized what a giant piece of shit he's been flying when he's been in our ship.
yeah. So the question is, are you going? I mean, are you going to tell Rayner about the Torlex class ship that has the scaffolding around it, or are you going to keep that for yourselves? What did you want to do with that?
Wasn't
He's
wasn't the
going to that
hussy?
planet and he's going to run into it on his own. We should tell him.
So I mean, your guys from the Hussey went through and they were able to get 10 tons of spares from the ship. They picked it apart.
Oh,
But I mean,
then we'll
there's
just say we found a destroyed ship.
yes, yes. Yeah. So uh, he's he's like, yeah, the Torlex. We'll get plenty of parts to build more Torlex ships. That's a small booty compared to all of this alien technology. And he's, I mean, yes, of course the Firbolges are aliens, but he's still thinking of them as like we would think about Sasquatch or the Greys. Like he thinks that they're like way out there, and you guys know differently that these were just primitive people that encountered something that they had never seen before, and so he says, well, a deal is a deal, and he hands over this other orb.
Check the orb, make sure it's the real deal.
It is. It is. He leads you
Okay.
into his little private museum and lifts the orb off the pedestal and hands it over to you.
Okay. Just making sure we weren't getting shafted.
One of the immediate things when Sarda holds the orb, this other orb, and he passes this on to you, is that there there was a missing piece to the end of the Firbolge story, in that the Firbolges, it kind of fast forwards through multiple psionic Firbolge over generations, and each one noting the rise of Firbolg society. They get higher in technology, then a cataclysm happens, they fall back down, they rise up again, something happens, they fall back down. Finally, after many thousands of years, they actually get to a point where they are able to understand their I guess seers or shaman are able to understand what they're seeing in the orb, and they start to recreate some of the technology that they find in the orb, leading to these primitive fusion rifles. But also they learn to build some very primitive starships, and all of them are crafted in the same style that the Droyne would have. They're not exact, but a casual glance at them, you would think, oh well, that's a Droyne ship. And they start to go out into the universe, and this part of, you get the sense that this is very recent, like maybe the last 100 years, and as these ships, as they become more and more advanced, they learn more and more of how to build these droid like ships. They get it in their head that the droid, their gods, are not coming back, and so they're leaving the planet and leaving the star system to find them. They are going out to search for them, and that's kind of the last part of the Firbolge story that you get from this new orb.
Huh. I mean, we wish them luck, I guess. Shit.
Yeah, you really don't have any. There's no sense of which direction they went.
I mean, nor can we do anything to help them out.
Ooh, that's a damn good roll. Making your way back to Deepnight Revelation, and after a couple of days in orbit, and not only for Revelation and the Hussey to refuel, but your science division needs to kind of plot this course, and over that amount of time, um, Sardis spends a little bit more time with the orb, and he finally digs out a piece of information that you guys have been searching for as long as I can remember, and that is a possibility for the third stage of the counter agent and how to make it work. And coupling it with the information that you found from the dome on the biological homeworld, there is a chance. Now it's not nearly 100% chance, but there is a possibility that this can give you an inoculation, an immunization to being infected by the Deepnight entity. It also brings up how to use the counter agent as like an Agent Orange kind of thing, where you can spray an area and it will kill the any spores of the entity. Now, the immediate thought of that, of course, is to integrate that into your airlock systems for your decon system, which will greatly reduce the amount of time that it takes for you to decontaminate. Because I mean, now you're spending anywhere up to like 3 hours because of the black light and using antifungal gels, and it's a mess. Whereas this, you'd probably be done in an hour. But
Oh, sweet.
the creating enough of this to where you can literally spray over an area in order to kill all of the fungal vegetation and growth, probably not. I mean, yeah, you can make it, but it's going to take a lot for you to make it, and there's no guarantee that the inoculation is going to work. So, I mean, every time there's a chance of infection, it's, well, am I immune? Well, we don't know. We'll see. But at least there's that one piece of information that can help. So then the question is do you guys want to be the guinea pigs to get immunized?
I mean, someone on the crew does.
Somebody's got to do it.
Well, tradition dictates you name the player who's not here, but
Yes, that's true. That is true.
A second, what have you guys tested on me before?
Right? Yes. How many times have I been jabbed?
How many times did you flash your light thingy me?
Let's see here. I can give you some exact info. Saying because I just oh, here it is. So stage 0, the travelers are aware of a counter agent. but their work is in its early. Stage 1, travelers have access to basic counteragent that provides a +2 on checks to avoid infection. A dose will last for 2D hours. Stage 1 counteragent can also be used in aerosol form to cleanse an area, such as a starship compartment of the entity spores. Stage 2, which you've had for a while, the travelers have access to highly effective counteragent that gives a +4 on checks to avoid infection and can reverse the early stages of infection. And a dose is effective for 2D hours. Stage 3, which is potentially unlocked here, powerful counteragent that entirely prevents infection. A dose lasts 2D hours, but a traveler who has taken regular doses or eaten small quantities in food for several weeks should gain a permanent +2 to prevent infection.
I like none of that.
Counteragent is almost totally effective. That is, travelers who use it cannot be infected, and most other people cannot either. So, yeah, I mean, if over the course of your journey you start to take it in either probably in small doses, either injection or with food, you should gain hopefully a +2 permanent to prevent infection without having to constantly be inoculated every time you go down on a planet. So in the other thing that is going on in the 4 days is the realization of where you are and plotting a course to get where you need to be. And no, it's not that one. Hold on. There's one of these maps that looks almost exactly like the other. And that is not the one. Maybe it is not in here, which is weird. Well, I can show you this map. They have plotted a course, and to realize where you are at the edge of a spiral arm. So once, and this isn't an accurate location of where you're at. This, at the bottom of the Kenvab subsector where you are at, it leads to what they're calling crossing to Terminus. This side is the galactic edge. Essentially, there might be, a couple of trailing stars or comets that are following along the edge of the Milky Way, but beyond that is nothing but black. There's nowhere to jump to. There's the closest dot that you see in the sky is another galaxy. There's nothing there. Same at the bottom edge. On the right side is the Great Rift, which has an equal problem, but there may be ways to cross it over to the other side of, of the other arm of the Milky Way galaxy, where you could then make your way back towards the Soleimani Confederation, like another 10 years down the line. In this crossing, there are 2 points they are calling Crossing Point Alpha and Crossing Point Beta before reaching the ultimate destination of Terminus Point. The problem with Crossing Point Alpha is that they are not able to detect if there is a gas giant present. Meaning that you're taking a leap of faith jumping to Crossing Point Alpha, in that there will be some way to refuel when you get there. Now,
that sounds exciting.
Yeah, right. You guys have done this before. I mean, there's usually a good chance that there is some kind of planetoid belt or rocky body that has some ice on it, or there's a rogue comet or something along those lines that will allow Deepnight Revelation to refuel. It may take longer, but that's you found that to be true. Very rarely has there been the danger of jumping to this kind of situation and finding nothing. This, of course, this is in a private meeting with you guys, the captain, and the head of the science division. Nobody else on the ship has been told this yet, but it won't take very long for the rumor to get around that, hey, we could be jumping to nowhere. The good news is that if you can find uh, water or ice, at least, at crossing point Alpha, one, two, 4, a 4 parsec jump to crossing point Beta, they have detected that there is a gas giant at Beta. That's the good news. And so, knowing what you guys now know, it is up to you if there is anything else that you want to do at Rowdland Port before you decide to jump to crossing point Alpha. Is there any? Do you want to do like shore leave? Do you? Because I mean, this isn't a bad place for shore leave. I mean, at least there's drinking opportunities, right?
True. And it might be the last time for Shore Leave for kind of ever.
Yeah, what's the morale situation looking like? Do we need to do this so that we don't lose personnel again? Of course, in the Big Black, they're not going to be able to go anywhere.
Right, right. Like I said, it does not take very long for this rumor to bounce around. The crew, actually, morale is actually pretty high. There are a couple of people that that basically get cold feet, and they're like, "Hey, we could still turn around and go home with the information that we've got, and there's no need for us to throw our lives away, risking jumping to essentially nowhere with no chance of fuel and being stuck out in the middle
Hey,
of
I
nowhere."
am really fucking good at astrogation. I
That's
would not
true.
worry about that.
That's true. But for the most part, the rest of the crew, the majority of the crew, kind of squash these naysayers down, and they're like, "No, we have made it this far. This is our mission. We have faced this kind of danger before, and damn the torpedoes. We're moving on." And so, for the most part, the majority of the crew kind of just pushes this down, and they support making the jump, which is unusual for you guys. Usually they usually they have the most ridiculous of complaints about literally everything.
We've gained their trust over time.
Finally, after 9 years of doing this
No.
over and over and over again. Yeah,
Trust takes time to build.
yeah, I guess so. But I mean, obviously people are nervous about this, but they're not, you know, they're for the most part the rest of the crew are on board with we're at the end. This is where we need to go, and this is the last hurdle we have to get across in order to get where we have been trying to get to for the last 9 years. So, yeah, it's up to you guys if you want to, have a last big hurrah in Rowdland Port, or if you are ready to jump.
I think I'm ready to jump.
What say you, Pappy?
Let's get it done.
All right. Do you want the crew to do an astrogation check, or would, uh, well, first, you might get some extra weeks here. One, two, three.
Who's not going to do the astrogation is me.
Yeah, you can add 2 weeks of study time for them getting to the position where they are ready to enter the crossing. Not that that's going to give you anything right away. And then the question is, do you want the crew to do the astrogation check, or do one of you want to do it? I know Pappy said no. What
I'll
about?
do it.
Okay,
I'll do it.
go ahead.
Keep hitting the wrong tab. Does the shift systems don't give me a bonus, right? It's just a straight roll.
I will give you a +2 because they've been studying this the entire time that you've been messing around out here in Kenvab. Nice.
I will take those 2 points for 13.
And they get a 14 on their jump check, and you get to add another week to your study time. Shit, there's 3 weeks already. So a week in jump goes by. Crew is nervous. You guys are jumping way out past the red line here. They're a little bit nervous about what they're going to find. And finally, at the end of the week, you arrive in the Alpha system. And this is a, it can hardly even be called a system. It's hard to even call the Alpha Primary to be a star. Alpha Primary is actually nothing more than a brown dwarf, and there is a second gas giant crossing Alpha 1 that is orbiting this K4 star, and the star is actually siphoning atmosphere off of the gas giant. So there's this big trailing line between the Alpha 1 and the star as the atmosphere is kind of ripped away from Alpha 1 into the primary. Everything in this system, it looks like there was probably 2 planets here to begin with, and something perturbed their orbit and shredded them into an inner and outer planetoid belt. I'm sorry. Maybe crossing Alpha 1 is no. Crossing Alpha 1 is not a gas giant. My mistake. Crossing Alpha 1 is a terrestrial where whatever atmosphere it had is being shredded off into this main sequence star. It's just this whole system is screwed up. Whoever, and I know that this is you can have the crew do this, or you can do it. Whoever would like to can make an electronic sensors plus intellect or education check.
All right, I'll do it. Spoke too soon.
So
I don't have sensors.
let's see, what can they do? So between both of you looking at this, you do pick up that there is some ice fragments in this outer planetoid belt. The crossing Alpha 1, let me find a description of it. It is, yeah, planetary formation in the system was interrupted by the passage of a rogue body, causing early protoplanets to break up. One planet did manage to form and has swept its orbit clear of other objects. Inside and outside this orbit are wide but sparse belts of planetoids and planetesimals. The central world has been pounded by asteroid impacts since formation and is now an irregular lump of rock strewn with enormous craters. It looks like Alpha 1 is in the process of breaking up as well. So, I mean, it's not round like this map is showing. It's kind of potato shaped with cracks all the way through it. So landing on Alpha 1 is not advised. However, your sensors do detect that there are some ice fragments in the outer planetoid belt. Um, and it's estimated that you'll be here for about 13 days, so just under 2 weeks, basically mining and cracking ice from the outer planetoid belt before a jump can be made for Beta 2. But there is fuel here.
Might as well make it the full 14 and get a study period out of it too.
That's true. You can do that. So you guys can go ahead and add 2 study periods, or I'm sorry, 2 weeks to your study periods.
Who knows? I might get there for another roll here soon.
Right? And so I just checked. The crew actually does what they're supposed to do. There are no major accidents in the 2 weeks. They are careful. They follow procedures, and the ship is ready to jump at the end of 2 weeks. If you'd like to make the astrogation check, you can, or they can do
I should redeem myself.
it. Look at that. Let's see here. +3 on the jump check. And once again, you can add another week to your study periods. And Revelation jumps for crossing point beta. Now, of course, in crossing point beta, there is, of course, a gas giant, but this is not it is not an overall moment of jubilation like you would have thought. It's not going to be as easy as originally anticipated. It's a very large gas giant that is orbiting a brown dwarf and is having the atmosphere siphoned off of it. The primary is small and dim. Really, it should have been a companion rather than a actual star. It's just this. It is a brown dwarf. Is that line between? Is it a star? Is it a gas giant? And it's siphoning off the gas from the very large super Jovian that is in orbit. Refueling from the super Jovian is going to be highly dangerous. The atmosphere is extremely turbulent, and there's gravitational effects from the primary, which are significant. It's not impossible for Deepnight Revelation to handle this, but and it's entirely up to you. You can either have the crew attempt to do refueling, or Pappy can take the controls.
I feel like this is a time where Pappy would say, "Oh hell no, I'm taking this one.
Okay, so Pappy,
I'm not putting this to chance."
Pappy, you can go ahead and make a um, piloting capital plus dexterity check.
Oh, capital shit. I only have Starship and Smallcraft.
Well,
Ooh.
That'll make it exciting.
You can have a co-pilot assist you.
Do that, yeah.
So go ahead and make your roll, and we'll see what the co-pilot can add to it.
Oh shit, monkeys.
So the run is a very rough time. Let's see, you got a 4. That's not
Ideal at all.
gotta look at this. So
Got that it was capital, not Starship. I'm like, oh, maybe I should learn capital.
yes. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Because that's not the first time we've run into this.
Okay.
Any chance you'll let me switch what I've been studying for the last couple weeks?
You know what? I will. I will allow you to do that.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool. I'm studying capital instead.
I need to Come
At least I was honest and asked and didn't just be like, that's what I've been studying. Yeah.
on. Let's see. There we go. Pappy, roll 2D. Or an 8. Ooh, maneuver drive takes damage. To the tune of. I gotta. Oh, I can do it faster here.
Thankfully, I can fix that.
So Deepnight has a total hull.
Did I just screw the whole mission?
41.2 thousand hull points.
I just killed us. Sorry, guys.
No. Let's see.
It's like Tommy Boy. What did you do?
Pappy, roll a d6.
Just one?
Yep.
Ready? I have no idea if it's supposed to be high or low. I don't know what a good roll was.
So, Deepnight Revelation during refueling operations takes 400 hull points worth of damage and takes a critical to the maneuver drive that now the ship is suffering a -1 to all piloting checks. But despite that, and I mean, it's a rough ride with every pass. The hull of the ship groans and creaks. There are showers of sparks as components kind of pop. But at the end of the about 3 days worth of refueling efforts, the tanks are full, and there is only the 400 hull points. If you would like, you can make an engineering M drive plus education check in order to fix this damage.
Here goes nothing.
Nice.
Hey.
So so Mel is able to fix up the damage to the M drive. Total time is another 5 days, but you are able to get that resolved. Also means that you can both add another week to your study time.
Yay.
Then I'm making a roll.
Go for it.
Wow, you already at 8?
Yeah, I had one roll over.
What were you studying again?
Vac suit.
Yeah, make a vac suit plus education check. There you go. Your vac suit went up.
I need 2 more weeks. Unless I mismathed.
I think you need one more because I rolled over one.
Okay. Then yes, I missed a week somewhere there.
Do you want to make the astrogation check?
Oh, why the hell not?
Nice. And that's even with that bright red one. That is a +1. And they jump for Terminus Point. You guys can add another week to your study periods.
All right, that puts me at time to roll for piloting capital.
Go ahead and make a piloting plus education check.
Piloting plus education. Damn it.
No, you didn't get it. No.
So I can't add any of the ranks from other ones, right?
Correct.
So how do you put so like it would have just been a straight 2D plus my education.
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
damn it. There's no way to like. Damn it.
So the week goes by, and the scuttlebutt aboard. There is a lot of anticipation, and mostly because the scuttlebutt is, and you know this to be true, is that nobody knows what to expect when they reach terminus point. All you know from long-range telemetry is that there is some kind of large singularity here. There is a big black hole, and you know this because you can detect black holes, and you can detect the radio frequencies of black holes. Beyond that, you don't know what you're going to find as far as a system is concerned. And at the end of that week, you find out. Deepnight Revelation emerges from jump, and this is what you see. Your sensors are just awash in EM and radiation frequencies and radio transmission coming from this black hole. You from visually you just see this large black hole at the center of this system. Your sensors are kind of awash because it is just generating so much turbulence as far as what they can deal with. And that's where we're going to break, and we will pick this back up on February 20th.
All right, sounds great. Before you check, Chris, I want to, and Pappy, want to ask a couple questions about the next go round.
Yes. Oh, for the next campaign?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and end tonight's session. We will see you. We will return on February 20th at 6 p.m. PST.